following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
To the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
Yo, welcome to Positively Pipeman on Monday on the Adventures of Pipeman. Here, this is our segment where we talk about things like business, motivation, inspiration, health and wellness, pets, and all kinds of other great stuff. And this is where we have our resident expert who has been on the network for 18 years and was a guest on my show before the network even, talking about health for your pet. You know, everybody likes to talk about health for human beings, but we need health for pets, especially since we're also poisoning our pets, not just, humans. Okay. And then after that, we're going to run a couple commercials for two of the festivals that are coming up in 2026 on the Pipeman Radio Tour. And you can win tickets to either one of those festivals. You pick. Just DM me after you see the commercials at Pipeman Radio anywhere on social medias, and you will be automatically entered to win. When you DM me, make sure that you put which festival you're looking to be because you're not going to get both. But they're both equally good. I love them, so you will too. And then after that, we have our Powerful Business Strategies segment with Michael Barbarita, and that is going to be cool because we're going to talk powerful referral strategies. They're so important in business and the least used strategy, and they are the most important. So we want to talk about that. But now we want to bring on our pipe nut, studio nut, our swamp nut. She's not here with us today because she's still sick. So that was your cue to come on, Juan. You can come play with us. And then with no further ado, let's bring on the guru of all gurus, the pet health guru, Bill, the pet health guru. There you are. How are you?
I am fantastic. It's great to be on the show again.
I have to say that I'm pretty allergic to this show right now because I'm allergic to cats. And I wonder if cats are allergic to the Pipeman.
That's an interesting question. It's one of those terms that's been batted around forever. But the honest to God truth is what we refer to as allergies don't exist.
Oh.
Basically, allergy symptoms are detox symptoms. When doctors couldn't figure out what it was, it must be an allergy, so let's try this drug and that drug and everything else. And basically putting more stuff in that's got to come out of the body. And it's been such a lie. And that's why they never go away. Because we're not doing detox. We're not cleaning out what's bad in our body. And that's all the body's really trying to do. It can show up as a rash. It can show up as runny eyes, chronic ear infections, all kinds of skin issues, all kinds of gut issues as well. A lot of them are actually even given classifications now of autoimmune. And it's, the body's attacking itself. No, we're poisoning it. It's that simple. End of story. We're done.
Yeah, listen, okay, and I'll even add to that, okay, because so my daughter, she has 3 cats now, and when I get to that level, okay, it's brutal for me. And then what happens is it does turn into sinusitis. It turns into a long term, when I'm exposed for a long time, to that allergen. But here's the bad part. Okay, they have all these allergy meds, and you know what? You know what's funny is I can't tell you how many women in my life expected me to live on allergy meds every day of my life just so I could be with them. Like, if I find out a woman, I don't care if they have a cat, there's nothing I can do. I cannot live with a cat, period. And I wouldn't ask them to get rid of it, but don't ask me to be on meds for the rest of my life over it either. And here's what I found out too, okay, is that when you take these meds like Zyrtec, like Allegra, like Claritin, because it's blocking off all those things that get rid of the stuff out of your body, here's what happens to me. Because I tried it recently because I was like, yeah, I just don't want to suffer for weeks. So I'm gonna take the meds this time. And it worked pretty well at my daughter's house. But what it also did is it created bleeding of my nose, and then it created pain as if somebody punched me in the nose. Why? Because the crap is not letting your nose get rid of it. So then it's storing it there, and it's becoming so dry that you start bleeding, and then you start scabbing, and then which is better? And I could just imagine what we're doing to uh, our pets that can't even talk to us when it comes to allergies. And I want you to answer that, but first I want to ask Studio Nut, are you allergic to any animals?
Not that I know of, but I am allergic to dust and pollen.
Okay, well then you're allergic to the whole world then.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now, do you know of any animals that are allergic to you?
No, I haven't seen any, but I'm sure I'll encounter some.
Okay, so Pet Health Guru, what's your take?
Well, the whole thing with those allergies and those toxins is like you're allergic to cats. Well, I've had a lot of people that were, but we found that when we feed species appropriate diets, real meat to a carnivore, the skin and coat condition is much, much improved. You have the right amounts of oils that are promoting bone growth. You don't have the dander because the skin is healthy. So that reduces it down. Now, on the backside of that, if we give this animal medications, that's literally what's coming out through the skin as well. They're shedding it. And that shedding goes into your body to create a different toxicity.
Wow.
One of the interesting things that I've had discussions on the Pet Health Cafe with various veterinarians. One of the interesting things in dogs, of course, is if you want to board them or take them anywhere, you have to have a Bordetella shot, basically kennel cough. And they found that when they give that vaccine, number one, it takes 2 weeks to work. So if you're boarding at the animal hospital and they say, well, we'll just give them the shot today, they're going to show symptoms of it by the time you get back. And by the way, you're going to get charged with an extra charge for treating what they just gave to your animal. But in households where they give this vaccine, they find that, and it's an intranasal. It's not even that needle-y thing, but it's just it's basically a spray. But when they give that to the dogs, and they have small kids in the house, 2 weeks later, the kids will have whooping cough.
Huh.
Just from shedding that medication.
Wow.
So it didn't prevent it in the first place, and now you just gave the kids something else to deal with. On the soil, on the mold, on the pollen, the reason when I joke around, when I was a kid, I worked my summers on farms. I was on the back of a hay wagon throwing bales of hay. You know how much pollen went into my lungs every single day? And I've never had an allergy. But 60 years ago when I was doing that, we didn't have the air pollution. We didn't have the chemtrails. We didn't have any of that. Pollen, mold, dirt absorbs these chemicals. So now that black mold that's been on the earth for 10 million years is now toxic because it's actually doing the cleansing of what we're doing to the air. And
Interesting.
it's a whole, it's something that obviously the medical community doesn't look at. They look at what they look at is they discover or create a drug and then try to find and create a disease, a condition that they can sell it for. That's the whole goal.
So, first of all, my question is, can you, so I could type it into my GPS or something, let me know the locations in the wild where animals go to a pharmacy? I'm not talking about when you go to the pharmacy for them. I'm talking about the animals in the wild. Where are the pharmacies that they go to for these issues, to take
It's
drugs for
basically
these issues?
it's basically all around them. They're eating the different herbs. They're drinking water that's basically herbal teas because the vegetation's sitting in it. They're getting the minerals from those puddles, from that water that's going to build up that immune system. And so much of this boils down to the minerals. And we know that most of our foods today are totally devoid of the essential minerals that we need to fight off any kind of challenge to the body.
You just gave me a good idea. Okay. So, because Gen Xers, myself, we always talk about how things were. Okay. And, when we were kids, you went and jumped in puddles and it was okay. Now, with the gentle parents, oh, no, don't jump in a puddle. And you just told me that Gen X is right, that jumping in puddles was good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, when we look at our diet, small farms on all the produce and on the animals, they weren't contaminated with, again, a whole plethora of preventatives. They weren't fed food garbage, if you will. It was living. I mean, even things like milk. I mean, milk used to be what we now call raw milk, but they stole the name, demonized it, and now in a lot of states you can't even buy it, and yet that's what my generation and before that was raised on. It was all raw milk.
Speaking of demonizing it, I have to show you something and the audience. This is something that Juan created a while ago. And so this is what happens when you demonize the pipe man. And that's from Big Pharma. Big Pharma does that to me. I do want to interrupt a little bit too while we're here. Hey, Juan, first of all, I want to know your guppies.
Sure.
Are they allergic to things?
Well, they're mostly inside the water, so I don't think they're allergic to the outside environment because they're not exposed to that environment. But the water does contain a lot of the chemicals that we buy or the chemicals that come from the tap water that we use for the fish.
All right, so it's important that you use the right water, or else you're
allergens
for your
and even
fish.
then, it's kind of concerning because when you buy the water, like if you want to buy the water for them, it says with added minerals, which means like I thought water was supposed to have minerals to begin with. So what do you mean you added the minerals?
Well, because a lot of the bottled water is just like tap water, and so they have to add the minerals back in after they use the tap water to fill the bottles.
Yeah, so much of the commercial water and so many of our households today, they're using either the Berkey system or reverse osmosis. That literally strips out all the minerals. And then they'll sell you these nice little packets of synthetic chemicals to add back to it so that they can claim their minerals.
Makes sense.
It does make a lot of sense to strip the natural minerals to add synthetic minerals to replace the natural minerals.
And of course, when you look at it in bottled water that you're buying at any marketplace, not only did they add those minerals back in a synthetic form, now they're storing them in plastic bottles loaded with BPA and phthalates and plasticizers and microplastics. So you're actually getting a bonus when you buy that stuff today.
Especially when you're here in South Florida, if you leave your bottled water in the car to heat up and boil, and then all the nice nutrients of the plastic they mix in with the water.
But you know what's nice about that? They actually don't charge you for the BPA. All the bottles say the BPA is free.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. And even like when we get into all the plethora of chemicals that are out there, when you look at supplements, vitamins and supplements and that sort of thing, 90% of them are packaged in plastic. And here in South Florida, the back of that UPS truck gets up in the 120, 140 degree range. So you can imagine what's going on with your supplements that don't do you any good.
Yeah,
right?
Shipping.
So I want to interrupt this, and we're going to get back to the animal thing again, because I too, okay, so he created that thing of me in AI, but now we have this new feature. And so I created some AI backgrounds for my show. And I want to see what you guys think. I just did this like right before the show. Okay, so first we'll do the one that is for my music, metal, and punk section of the show, Pipeman in the Pit. So I just basically typed in Pipeman in the mosh pit, and here's what we came up with. In fact, Juan, why don't you take off all overlays and scrolling text right now? And then probably we should remove us to see it, but let's see. We'll remove all of us, Juan, so we can see it, and then bring us back in to talk.
Well, we can talk. We can turn off the cameras so we can.
Or you know what? Can't we do this? Let's see. Let's see if this works. There we go. There we go. Look at that.
So that's what the Pipeman looks like in the pit.
That's Pipeman in the pit. I like it.
That's
actually.
not AI. That's an actual photo.
I mean, I like it actually. Okay. And then we have, for the show in general, the Adventures of Pipeman. I like this character because I do portray myself like a superhero. So I do love this character created. You ready?
And I do think this should be the poster for Pipeman for Press.
I mean, look at that. That is I mean, I'm not a big fan of AI, okay, because it screws a lot of things up, but I only tried it once, and that's what it came up with. I like, if I were a superhero, I would want to look like that. It looks like I'm a combination of Aquaman, Flash, and Batman all in one.
And your weapon is a pipe wrench.
I know. How great is that? Okay.
It's literally just a pipe and a wrench at the top.
Okay, so what do you think, Bill?
I think it's pretty cool. Well, why you said to say that, one of our original things that you and I did was my rant back, 10, 15 years ago. I wonder what that would look like in a rendition.
Let's find out. Hold on a second. We're going to find out right now. Pet health guru rant. Okay, this is going to be good. All right, here we go. Let's see if it lets us. There are a couple times I typed stuff in and I'm like, no, you can't do that. I think it was whenever I put my name in there, it wouldn't let me use a name. So there are some legalities going on with the AI, but it is creating it. It's generating it. Okay, let's see what happens. Do 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 do. We have that music down below. Why don't you put the Jeopardy music on now? Oh my God, you're gonna love this. Are you ready, Pet Health Guru?
Absolutely.
It's so 2025 too. Okay, hold on, it's processing. First, while that's processing, now this is good for the Pipeman Radio Tour. You ready, Juan? Okay, this is for the Pipeman Radio Tour. Like, that's great. It's like Mad Max and Pipeman go on tour. Okay? I mean, and then there's also, like, I've been deemed by publicists as the king of all festivals. So it didn't make me the king. It just made a festival thing, but it does look kind of, oh, there is the king. That's me right there. That's me in the middle with the two torches. And does it say pipe? What does it say up there on the blimp? Tell us what that says on the blimp, Juan.
It says, what is that? Rex festorum?
It did come up. You know what it says? You're going to love this one. I put King of all festivals. You know what it named this background? Festival de los Reyes.
Festival of the Kings.
I know, like that's pretty funny that it made it Spanish. Okay, are we ready for the great reveal of the pet health guru?
Absolutely.
Here it comes. Oh my God, it knows you so well too. Oh my God. Look at that. Look at just what it wrote. And all I did was type what I said I typed. It wasn't like I didn't give it all this information.
I know.
It's the AI background generator has been listening to the show. It's a big fan. Well, you're big fans, by the way. The AI background generators are some of your biggest fans. Okay, so let's talk about this here for a second. Okay, you got the cat up there, and it is the cat like allergic to whatever is in his hand, and it's about to throw it. Look, it says kibble is crap.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Spirulina is crap.
Oh my God, I can't believe this. It's like so spot on with stuff. I mean, this is great. Okay, Bill, somehow we're going to have to figure a way to transfer this to yours, and you should use it during your show.
There you go. Yep. Sounds like an idea.
And this one's labeled, okay, so I said the other one, Festival de los Reyes. This one's labeled, that sounds interesting. Please tell me more about what you envision for this pet health guru.
Absolutely.
So pet health guru, what do you envision? Okay, let's see. You can fix it, Juan. Pet health guru, what do you envision about allergies with pets and your advice to people, why it happens? We've already talked about causes. We've kind of talked about what about prevention? How does a pet health guru, like people should contact you so that they can help with the prevention? What's the prevention?
Prevention is a healthy body. Plain and simple, staying away from all the toxins we can. Unfortunately, things like the chemtrails and the spraying for mosquitoes and Zika and all the other garbage, lawn chemicals, household cleaners, all of that are continuously adding to that toxic load. So we have to detox. I've gotten to the point now when somebody comes in, they got an animal that's sick, and I can tell by looking at them that they've got issues. Number one thing, you got to clean out your liver, your kidney, and your lymphatic system. If you don't clean out your body, nothing's going to change. When you do that, though, you have to stop putting more poison in. You can't control the air outside anyway. You can't control your neighbors with their lawn chemicals, but you detox whatever your animals are getting into. You detox yourself the same way. And then, like I said, a species-appropriate diet to build up that immune system. And it varies so much because of these chemical sprays. They keep changing the chemicals. You never know what you're going to be battling with. Fortunately, I have several detox products that BioComplete line is made for us, and we can at least keep going after that approach and do the best you can.
So how can people reach out to you to get help with their pets for any of their health issues, but also specifically allergies?
Just give us a call at mypaleopet.com. You can also go to BioComplete Concepts website, which is BioComplete Natural Diets, to look up products and things like that. Consultations, I do private consultations. Again, those can be ordered on the website, mypaleopet.com. Calling the store, 954-971-2500. The girls here, the team can help you out with all of that stuff. And, of course, number one, start listening and watching the Pet Health Cafe.
And how do they watch the Pet Health Cafe? It's on W4HC radio at W4HC.com, right?
Absolutely. Of course, then it's 24/7 on YouTube and a whole host of other places.
and they can listen to your podcast anywhere. All the past episodes are there anywhere they listen to podcasts. Okay, so any final words about pet health and allergies?
Do the right thing. Become educated. That's what I'm here for. The
That's why
medical
you're on my
community.
show.
Yeah, exactly. The medical community is very, very mono approach into what they're going to do for you. The whole thing is about using as many different tools as you can find in your toolbox. And that's how we're going to get healthy.
All right. I want to go back to the backgrounds for a second because while you were talking, I was creating backgrounds for my co-hosts. Okay. So we're going to save this for another week when Rebel's on with us. Here's the swamp nut.
I see the titles.
here's the swamp nut rebel meddler. Hold on. Let's get us back to the other. Hold on. Wait, no, not there. What did I do before? How come it's? Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Oh my God.
That looks like her.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Okay, then I tried to put.
Oh, I love the flag. The flag actually says Swamp Nut Rebel Meddler.
Right? And okay, so I can't even handle this. I tried to type in, and I got one of those things. I tried to type in studio nut.
Yeah,
and that violated the safety protocol. That's what it says. Can't generate or something because of safety, whatever. Okay, so I had to go back to Juan, the engineer. Okay, so first I did Juan, the podcast engineer, and of course it turned it into Juan El Enginerio Day Podcast. Oh my God. And that's what they think. That's what AI thinks you look like, Juan. That's what AI thinks you look like, Juan.
That's exactly what I look like when the makeup comes off.
I know, right?
Just for the show.
So then I'm like, okay, well, let's see what he looks like if he's a radio engineer. It seems that radio engineers are much more racist. Okay, or the AI's racist towards radio engineers, because it's that this is you. You're not even Latino anymore because it's radio.
Yeah, that's not Juan. That's Juan.
Oh my God! Voice of the airwaves they put up there,
and he's actually fixing radios.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, let's see one more thing. Let's see, Juan, the streaming TV producer. Let's see what happens. It's got to generate a little bit. But meanwhile, you guys can catch this Positively Pipeman segment. Oh, there we go. It's here. It's here. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, it's got process. But check out the Adventures of Pipeman. Mondays are always Positively Pipeman. So it's every Monday, 1 p.m. Right here on W4CY Radio. You can catch past episodes of the full Adventures of Pipeman show, segments of Positively Pipeman, segments of Pipeman in the Pit, segments of interviews, bonus material, all that stuff. Just anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you subscribe to the podcast, I'll give you a lot of cool shit, including the ability to win tickets to festivals. But here we go. Here is Juan, the streaming producer of TV. Dun, dun, dun.
It's a lot
there
of coffee. I also love how they turn the whole title into Spanish, but it doesn't know how to translate TV and streaming.
I know, right? Well, because there isn't a word. Like when I was in Costa Rica taking Costa Rican Spanish classes, to be better at it. And basically the teacher did tell me, like I asked about podcasting and streaming, and it's like, yeah, there's no word for it. They just say podcasting and streaming. And I'm thinking, like, if you're going to make up new words, you might as well make them up in the different languages. Here we go again with the arrogance of being American. It's only an American word, okay? No other country exists, so we have to make all new words from now on. It's going to be totally great. All new words are going to be in English, and then to translate it to other languages, it's just the same word. I say it's going to be great. We're just going to abolish all of the other languages at this point, and we're just going to start over. We're going to fire every language, and we're going to start off fresh, and just English will be the only language anybody can ever speak. And then we'll convince the Martians to do the same thing, because that's where we're going to ruin next.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
the lizard people.
Yes. Before we go to Mars, though, we're going to have to go to a couple festivals. So we're going to run a couple commercials right now for those festivals. And again, Pipeman Radio. DM me on any socials. Be entered to win. And I'll tell you what, too. Keep tuning in for the Pet Health Guru. He is the best. And stay tuned after the festivals. If you're a business person or you know the word business, okay, then stay tuned for the rest of the show, where we're going to talk some powerful business strategies having to do with referral strategies and referral campaigns. I'll tell you what, that's the best way to get new business if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, or you're just in some lab making some drugs for us to all be allergic to. Roll it, Juan.
You want to do the commercials first, or?
Well, yeah. We're doing
All
the
right.
commercials and then Michael Barbarita.
All right,
I think I
here we go.
said all that just now.
Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival returns May 14th through 17th with My Chemical Romance, Tool, Bring Me the Horizon, and Shinedown. Plus, Pierce the Veil, Good Charlotte, The Offspring, Sublime, Godsmack, Breaking Benjamin, Marilyn Manson, and so many more. Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio, May 14th to 17th. Passes on sale now for as low as $1 down at sonictemplefestival.com. Welcome to Rockville. Returns to Daytona International Speedway May 7th through 10th with Foo Fighters, My Chemical Romance, Guns N' Roses, and Bring Me the Horizon. Plus, Turnstile, Five Finger Death Punch, The Offspring, Breaking Benjamin, A Day to Remember, Godsmack, and so many more. Welcome to Rockville, May 7th through 10th. Passes on sale now for as low as $1 down at welcometoRockville.com.
Hey, you're listening to The Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, back again for the Positively Pipeman segment with our powerful business strategies from Michael Barbarita. So let's welcome Michael to the show. How are you?
Excellent. How are you, Dane?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm ready for some referral strategies and campaigns.
And that's what we're going to talk. Hey, that just so happens to what we're going to talk about today.
Nice.
Dean, most business owners hope for referrals. They pray that customers talk about them. But, as you know, hope isn't a strategy. And here's what kills revenue growth: waiting for referrals instead of systematically creating them. So the truth is, and probably everybody knows this, that referrals are probably the highest converting leads you'll ever get. Yet most businesses treat them like an accident rather than a strategy, rather than a profitability strategy. So I'd like to give you an example of what a car dealership did to get referrals. So a car dealership gave a customer $1/2 of $100 bill at delivery of their new car. So every time they sold a new car, they also gave the customer half of a $100 bill. And the customer they would tell the customer that they would get the other half when they referred someone.
That's brilliant.
I know. Referrals, the referrals were predictable and the sales exploded. And business efficiency means turning satisfied customers into active promoters. It's not complicated, but it's intentional. And so a lot of business owners aren't intentional with their referral strategy, because referral strategy is more than just hoping for recommendations. It's creating that predictable system, like what the auto dealership did, to encourage and track referrals. And it involves understanding when and how to ask for the referrals, and then providing incentives that motivate customers to act. Unlike word of mouth, a referral strategy is proactive. It's a proactive approach, and it systematically generates and manages referrals. It's about turning satisfied customers into active promoters for your business, just like the car dealership did.
Yeah.
And so, but business owners, for the most part, they just wait for referrals to happen instead of actually developing a strategy, motivating people to refer them. And let me also, in this segment, Dean, define what a strategy is. Because a lot of people don't know actually what I use the word all the time, even the name of my book, Powerful Business Strategies. And I define what a strategy is in my book, but I never actually defined it in our segments. So a strategy is a series of tactics done over and over again in the same order to get a predictable result. And so that's what a strategy is. And so so if you think about that car dealership, that's exactly what they did. It's a tactic, splitting $100 bill over and over again to every customer who bought a new car from them. In the same order, they do it the same way, over and over again, to get that predictable result, which was a referral, because they knew that they had something like a 60% referral rate when they perform that strategy. And I don't know, the psychology of it is you feel like you're halfway there by having to have the $100 bill. And so I guess that motivates them to refer somebody. So, and there's a little management on the part of the car dealership, because you got to make sure that the serial numbers match when you give them the other half. So there is a little organization administration there, but that strategy worked famously for that car dealership, and it can work famously for just about any business if you think about it.
Yeah.
And what's interesting too is that it's typical at the time of purchase, or when you have completed a successful transaction or received a positive result of some sort with a business or a customer, that's the time to ask for referrals, because that's when the customer is happiest, right? They're the happiest at that point. And so they're willing to reciprocate as best they can when that great result happens. And so, making and requesting referrals as part of your sales process and being able to manage it and track it is very effective. So, but once again, business owners I can't tell you, in my BNI group, in my BNI referral group, I would say 100% of the people do not have a referral strategy, other than saying they go to BNI. Other than that, they have no referral strategy to get referrals from other participants, from other members. And there's several ways that you can put together strategies. As a matter of fact, we have a whole workbook on them that I'll talk about in a moment. But there are several strategies that one can employ, like what the car dealership did, in order to proactively have a systematic methodology of getting referrals. What do you find, Dean, with people, with business owners? I mean, is it mostly a pray kind of?
Yeah, most business owners don't really have a strategy. Most businesses don't have a strategy. It's interesting you should ask me that, because the whole time I was thinking about when I first started at Prudential in 1989, and I was required, it wasn't a suggestion, to get 5 referrals from each person as soon as I made the sale. Like sitting at the table, selling them insurance, which was how it started. And I would basically have a form with the name, phone number, relation, address. You know, it was back before email and back before internet, so address was important to mail them junk, you know. And but instead of emailing them junk, and you were required. It was part of your job. There was no like, if you can, there was no suggestion. It was, you must get these 5. And you'd say, well, what if they don't want to give them to me? People don't want to give out that information. And, you know, part of that is true, but the other part of that is your own mindset. I think the biggest problem with salespeople in general, and this goes back to something you have already said in previous episodes, okay? But, you know, you cannot think like the customer. You're not the customer. Don't like, people are like, well, I wouldn't do that. Right. Well, just because you wouldn't do that doesn't mean 10 people would, you know? And so you should get that right out of your mind. So like the people that wouldn't get those 5 referrals, you know, even though they were required to, would be like, oh, I would never give out that information. I'm not asking them. Me, on the other hand, you know, I was doing whatever they told me to do, and I was the number 1 agent out of 85 agents. Why?
That's awesome. Yeah.
Because I was that pain in the ass asking for those 5 referrals every single time. So every sale became more than 1 sale.
And you know what's amazing about that, Dean, is that if you ask 10 other agents whether that strategy worked, the majority of them would probably say it did not. Well, here you are saying that it absolutely worked.
It did not work because of their own attitude. That's what it comes down to. Like, listen, there's plenty of things that I would not do that clients of mine throughout my career and my life have done. And so that's why you can't think that way. You know, people, perfect example is people hate used car salespeople. They talk about it. Right. They say all these things, yet they still buy the car.
Right.
They still fall for the same things they know that are going on and still buy it and still believe it. So it's all about what you project in your head, because sales is a transfer of emotion. So if emotionally you're not vested in getting those referrals and you don't believe it's going to happen, it's not going to be successful for you.
That's right. That's a great example, because there's a system that's, you know, this is not, you're not hoping here. You're directly, it's a system that directly asks the customer for referrals. And if it's done consistently, and if it's done, period, and with the belief that you're going to make out and get those referrals, it happens. It's amazing. That's amazing. And you know, like I said, I in my BNI group and some other networking groups that I'm in, the reason why they go is they hope that they can get a referral, and they don't have a strategy to get a referral. They just hope they can.
Yeah.
And many people that, you know, get discouraged after 6 months or 8 months of not getting referrals, and they leave, and they think networking doesn't work, when in fact it really does.
As somebody who's a master at networking, has done it my whole life, speaking of BNI, one of the beautiful things about BNI is all the rules. Most people that network hate BNI because of the rules.
Absolutely.
And they're dumb, because BNI gets you more business. You know, a lot of people go into these networking organizations to go to cocktail mixers. And, and like, that was my least favorite thing, because, you know, it's like the cocktail mixers, people were going there to drink for free and to, you know, meet people personally, not business wise. Right. You know, but BNI, runs it like a business.
Right now.
And it's serious. And yeah, you may not want to follow all those rules, but if you don't follow those rules in life, you're not going to succeed.
That's right. It's the discipline that drives the referrals at BNI. It's that discipline. It's the discipline that they instill in the member. And you know what I love about BNI is my brethren and competitors hate it.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it, because generally speaking, I'm able to visit other BNI chapters without any because my competitors, I know my competitors aren't there. And so I'm able to join, I'm able to visit other chapters and be a substitute when they're absent. And that's been a big benefit for me.
There's only two types of BNI members, by the way, and that's either the ones that totally love it and swear by it, or the ones that don't renew and think they got nothing out of it. There's no middle. There's no middle.
Yeah, no, I agree. And some of those ones that, that say it won't work, they stop their own. And of course, it, falls on its face usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you think something's not going to work, it won't, because you're not going to do what it takes for it to work.
No, you're right. You're right.
But referrals do work. They're the easiest to close. They're the best lead you can get. And they're the easiest thing to get if you got out of your own way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So here's what I'd like to offer you, the listeners, Dean. I have a workbook, step-by-step implementation workbook called Referral Strategies and Campaigns. And all someone has to do is go to nextstepcfo.net, hit the contact button, fill out the contact form, and in the message box, just simply put Referral Campaigns and Strategies Workbook, and I'll send it to them free of charge. And if they follow that workbook, they'll be able to generate strategies to get referrals. And it won't be the hope and pray. It would be actual strategy.
Right.
It's actually being strategic about getting referrals.
Right. And everything should be strategic. It's like, I can't believe how many business people just rely on, the universe. Let's put it that way.
Right. Right.
The fact is everything out there. Okay. You take Tony Robbins. People say, oh, he just pumps people up. But if you went to one of his seminars, he tells you that you can show up to my seminar. If you don't put any of this into action, it will do nothing. Okay. Then there's people, okay, even if you talk in religion, let go and let God. Let go and let God does not mean do nothing. People think that's what it means. It doesn't mean do nothing. You must have a strategy, whether it's for your personal life, business life, no matter what it is, because otherwise it's like driving to somewhere you've never been without a GPS.
That's right. Yep.
So thank you for giving us this GPS. Okay. Thank you for giving them a free workbook. And thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman once again.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you, Dean.
See you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.